This is ITV. Certainly the best.
Program this morning on ITV, where we're still in the mood of Salah celebration because even tomorrow, Monday, is public holiday in celebration for the Salah. But the big question is, while we're enjoying, in fact, I've had my ram already this morning, so much thanks to Al-Ameen. So, but while we're having all that, the ram, the celebration, the wearing of fine clothes, the unwinding and all that, what's really the significance of the celebration? And so this morning we'll be looking at the significance of the celebration, the significance of Eid-UL. And my guest in the studio is Barrister Al-Ameen. He's an Islamic scholar. You're welcome to the program, Alao.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
So I think I should say Barakadi Salah.
Exactly, you are in order.
Okay. And so, I mean, what's the significance of all of this, you know? What's the significance of Eid-UL?
Thank you very much. The Eid-UL festival, meaning the festival of the Eid-UL, meaning the festival of sacrifice, has a great significance in Islam. And if you observe it, the origin or the historical origin of this festival, what we are trying to commemorate, the submission of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, that is Abraham, who was ready to sacrifice the thing that was most precious in his life for Almighty God. And because as we are all aware, we read in history that he was not having a child until he attained old age, and eventually, before he was able to have a child, he made a promise that if God could give me a child, in fact, I can even offer that child. I'm ready to offer that child as sacrifice to God. And God noted it. And eventually, God granted him a child at old age, when the wife will say has attained menopause, meaning that as far as God is concerned, there is no impossibility in his dictionary. Now they had a child, and of course, he loved that child. Those who have many children may not know the value of a child, but those who have been looking for a child, whenever they get one, sometimes they even spoil the child because of the excessive love that they have for that child. So Ibrahim now had so much love for that child, and now God wanted to put him to test. I want to know now if Ibrahim still loves me, or Ibrahim prefers this child above me, because Prophet Muhammad said in one tradition that you cannot be a believer until you love Allah and his apostle more than everything on earth, including yourself. That is when you can now be a believer. To be a believer, you must submit totally, unconditionally to the will of God. God wanted to test him. God now reminded him of his promise in his dream. That, do not forget, you are to sacrifice this child for me. Have you forgotten? And of course, it was very clear to him that God was reminding him to fulfill his promise. So one of the lessons we learn from that is fulfillment of promise. Most of us make promises, we do not fulfill our promises. But when someone promises us and it fails, we feel very, very bad. Now, Ibrahim went ahead, and what did he do? He told the wife, do not forget, before we had this child, the promise I made, God is reminding me. Other women will say, what are you talking about? That must be a joke. Now, from Hajara, from Hagar, we learned a lesson. Cooperation with the husband. He didn't say, what are you talking about? I will go and inform the police. What kill our child? He said, if it is God that says so, he doesn't have a choice. Assuming the wife was not submissive to God, he will have had problem. It will not be possible for him to carry out that obligation. That explains why you need to also ensure that your wife is a believer in God who submits to God, so that both of you can cooperate and know how to. That explains why today, when some embezzle money and they take it home, their wives welcome them. Yes, you have done well. But if you have a pious wife, say, take your illegal money away. I don't want to go to hellfire. I don't want to eat unlawful money. But how many women cry today? My husband has been embezzling money. See where he kept it. See the account. Nobody ever keeps quiet. So he joined the husband to submit to the will of God. And that explains why Ibrahim will go ahead to fulfill his promise And of course, coming now to the victim himself, quote and unquote victim now, the object of the sacrifice, Ismail. How do I tell my child I have to slaughter him? You can imagine, it is a difficult thing to do. It is not usual for a father to sacrifice the child. God did not even say, okay, I am sending an angel to take that child, or I will kill that child. I want to take that child. Let me see how you feel. God said, use your own hand, take a knife and go and slaughter that child for me. How difficult it was. And of course, Ibrahim, if he wanted to listen to the devil's voice, he would have been able to exonerate himself and say, oh, this cannot be God talking to me. How can I kill my own child? The devil can say, don't obey. And then you say, no, I can't even do that. It's wrong to kill a child. You can see the extent of his submissiveness to God. He went ahead and was ready, of course, to practically sacrifice that child for God. God saw that sincerely from the bottom of his mind, he was ready. And when he told the child said, if that is what God said, my father, go ahead and comply. And we are told in some history.
He even told the son.
Of course.
Oh.
Some children will run away and say, oh, my father wants to kill me. Oh, I will not sleep at home today. Or when he goes, he will not come back. In fact, some history, we are told that he advised the father, blindfold me so that the sight of the knife will not frighten me. And then bind me, tie my hands and legs when you are about to slaughter me. So that while struggling from the pain of the knife, I will not hit you, thereby committing the sin of one who had beaten the father. Some child beat their father, some beat their mother. So he was submissive. So you can see that it was a righteous family. If not, it would have been difficult for Ibrahim alayhi salam to actually go ahead and fulfill that promise. So now taking his knife, laying the child down, God performed another miracle. The knife refused to cut.
Wow.
And God has seen that he had actually carried out his promise. Now the question to everyone is, what is your Ismail? What is that thing that you so much value above God, that you prefer above God? Are you ready to sacrifice your own Ismail, not just to eat the ram? Are you ready to sacrifice your own Ismail to now love God more than everything on earth, including yourself, as Ibrahim did? So the name of Ibrahim entered God's book of record. I don't want to use Guinness Book of Record. God's book of record, because of the exceptional display of obedience, of submission that he did. He would have said, oh God, I know you are testing me. You wanted to see if I would be so wicked to kill my child. I know you are just testing me, so I won't kill my child. But he knew that he made a promise. And another point, very significant, is that it's not very clear that Almighty God do not want you to use human being as sacrifice. It's forbidden. It's unlawful. So those who engage in human rituals, those who sell human parts, whenever you go into that, you should know that you are not dealing with God, you are dealing with the devil. So God made it clear, no, this child should not be slaughtered. It is wrong to kill a child, to sacrifice a child. It's wrong to take a soul. Now look at the ram. The ram was brought as ransom for the child, for Ismail. But that is not justification for kidnappers to say, okay, we are also taking ransom. After all, God ransom Ismail. You are not talking about that type of ransom. Your own is unlawful ransom. You kidnap somebody, you are saying, okay, the parents, the family should bring money. We are not talking of that. You should not compare that with what you are doing. So God saved the life of Ismail and replaced it with a ram. And that explains why we slaughter the ram. And that explains why among the animals we slaughter for sacrifice, the ram appears to be the most popular and the most rewarding. 7 can combine together to sacrifice a cow or a camel. If you have the means, of course, you can buy a cow and slaughter. But the ram was the actual animal that Ibrahim alayhi salam was given in lieu of Ismail. You can sacrifice the camel, the cow, the ram, and then you can also use the sheep. So the significance of the sacrifice is so much that if we decide to also be submissive to God, most of the crises we have in the country will not be there. There was a man that bought a slave, and when he bought the slave, he brought the slave home and said, my slave, what name is your name? He said, oh, my master, whatever name you call me, whatever name you give me as from today, that is my name. He said, you don't have a name. He said, master, whatever name that's convenient for you to call me, that is my name. That's okay. What work will I to do? He said, whatever work my master gives me, that is my duty. So which type of food would you like to be taking? Say, whichever food my master gives me, I don't have a choice. And then the man now started thinking, say, oh, you have taught me how to submit to my God. You have taught me how to submit to my God. This slave has taught me how to submit to my God. He's telling me whatever I do is convenient for him. I am created by God. Sometimes God will take some decision. I will say, oh God, why have you done this to me? Why me? When God orders to do some things, you don't want to carry it out. So the slave taught him some lessons, and he learned that lesson. Because what is the purpose of creation? Purpose of our being created on earth is what Allah said in the Quran, that Allah is the jinn wal insi illa liya'budun. I have not created mankind and the jinn except that they should worship me. He went as far as saying that I do not demand livelihood for them, nor do I ask that they should feed me. Go there and worship me. Go onto the earth and worship me. But unfortunately, we have now come to the earth feeling that, oh, we have a lot to grab here. You have nothing to grab here. Whatever you grab, when you are going, you leave behind. When a child is born, you see the child gripping the hands together. It's being interpreted to mean that, oh, I will grab as much as possible in this world. And that when someone dies, the palms are open. It's interpreted to mean that everything I acquired, everything I embezzled, everything I coagulated, I could not take any along. And that explains why when statements are made, there are some definitions or descriptions which are wrong, that some terms which we use on earth which are completely wrong. One of them is what? Landlord. Landlord. The Lord of the land. It's only Almighty God that is the Lord of the land. Or you say, no, I'm the landlord of this land. I'm the landlord of this house. But unfortunately, you see, when the so-called landlord drops dead, what happens? He's buried outside in the cemetery or elsewhere. And at night, they will ask, who remains outside? We want to shut the door. They say nobody remains outside. The so-called landlord is in the cemetery. You can imagine.
And outside.
Another word is permanent secretary. Permanent secretary. Oh, there's nothing that is permanent on earth. It's the truth. When you talk of permanent, means that you not change, you remain there. But you not be hearing retired permanent secretary. That's contradiction. Somebody that's permanent, how come is retired? Okay. They say this is a permanent house. It's not a permanent house. And that explains why everybody needs to actually understand that our sojourn on earth is for a very short period, and you need to come here and then serve your God, worship your God. The purpose of creation is to worship your God, so that eventually when you leave the service of this earth, the hereafter will be beneficial for you. You can gain admission to paradise.
Okay, let's try to relate this celebration of sacrifice to our everyday life and what we're going through in this country right now, especially the Boko Haram and all that, who say they are fighting for religion. And now, this sacrifice where God actually switched, ransomed Ismail with a ram and said, do not spill blood and do not kill human. And then they still go ahead and kill in the name of this same God. I mean, does it justify their action?
Thank you very much. You see, half knowledge is dangerous. That is one. And then number two, we have a lot of hypocrisy. Why I said half knowledge is dangerous, I was somebody sent to my WhatsApp page some verses of the Quran, about 12 different verses. One of them is I can't remember the actual verse now. Now, when I went through, the impression is that God has commanded that you should kill the non-Muslims, kill the unbelievers, kill the Christians, kill the... When I went through, I now went to the Quran, and I opened the Quran, I looked at it. A verse was extracted at the middle. The preceding verse was omitted, the following verses were omitted. The preceding verse, God was talking, verse 190 of that chapter, referring to those who persecuted the Muslims, who persecuted them. God is saying, okay, those who persecuted you, you are free to also retaliate. because persecution is worse than slaughter. God does not like persecution. So fight them as they fought you. Drive them out as they drove you out. For example, Prophet Muhammad was preaching in Makkah. They persecuted him, killing the followers, tying a leg to a camel, another leg to another camel, driving the two camels opposite direction. They would tear the victim into two. They were killing them. Then he allowed the followers to emigrate to Medina, while himself remained until God permitted him to also move. Now, getting to Medina, the unbelievers still say, oh, we must kill Muhammad, we must wipe out Islam and kill the Muslims. And then the companions were saying, they are already on their way with their army coming to attack us. What do we do? Prophet kept quiet. Some of them were saying, let us go and fight them. Prophet kept quiet. They were so worried until God now revealed that verse, that you are free to defend yourself. Fight them. And that is the verse that was now sent on WhatsApp. That fight them. Kill them wherever you see them. So anybody that just say fight them, they are asked to fight. But these are people who were persecuted. And God now said, okay, now you can now retaliate. Defend yourself. Self-defense. You can even imagine, the prophet need not wait until God said defend yourself before you defend yourself. But he still waited to the extent the companions were so worried. All the way from Makkah, the unbelievers were already close to Medina. About 7 to 5 hours journey. For example, they are coming from Kaduna to Benin. They already arrived at Eya or Adumabai. They were already close before that revelation came from God. Before Muhammad now told the followers, they now started quickly assembling. They had no arms. They were getting pestle. Some will carry firewood. Some will carry the mortar that the wife used to make a bar or pound a yam. Meanwhile, those coming to fight them are trained warriors. They were just 313. The Muslims assembled. The unbelievers were 1,000. So then they met at the place that is called Barr. The battle took place. But God sent the angels to assist the Muslims and they had upper hand. God now assured them, if they attack you again, I will send 3,000 angels if they are 1,000. And that was how they won the battle. But the person that does not know the history of that particular verse just say, oh, God said, fight them, drive them out and they don't be out, kill them and they kill you. Say, this book is asking the Muslims to kill, not knowing what was the origin. That's why I said half knowledge is dangerous. But someone, for example, maybe a Boko Haram member who is not knowledgeable in the Quran, and somebody opens that fire and says, go say fight or kill. It's okay, let's go fight. Because it's not knowledgeable. And that explains why, very, very importantly, everybody needs to seek for knowledge. And what makes you to be a competent believer in your faith is the knowledge. You cannot claim to be a sound medical doctor if you don't possess the knowledge. They call you quack, or you start killing people and start slaughtering them. You must be knowledgeable in that act. So if Boko Haram say Boko Haram, the ignorance is being displayed from there. Boko Haram, book is haram. Haram means unlawful. And meanwhile, God said in the Quran that Alif Lam Mim Dhalika al-Kitab, that this is the book. La raiba fihi. There is no doubt in it. Hudan lil muttaqin. It is guidance sure for the believers, those who fear God. Now, when you say Boko Haram, book is unlawful, and God described the Quran itself as a book. Dhalika al-Kitab. This is the book. Referring to the Quran as a book, and you say book is unlawful, you are also saying that the Quran is also unlawful. So the name from inception or the nickname is already wrong. And God is saying in the Quran, Surah to Ma'idah, Quran chapter 5, verse 30 thereabout, that whosoever kills a soul unjustly, it's as if he has killed the entire humanity. And whosoever saves a soul, it's as if he has saved the entire humanity. That verse is still in the Quran up to today. Why won't you read that and say, oh, God does not like killing. God loves us to save lives. So when you now claim to be adherent of Islamic faith and you decide to be killing, then you are on your own. In fact, in real battle we have rules of war in Islam. You have rules of war in real battle. When battle cannot be avoided, what are the rules of war? Among them, you only fight those who are fighting you. It is forbidden to kill the women, it is forbidden to kill the children, forbidden to kill religious leaders, forbidden to destroy places of worship, churches and mosques, forbidden to destroy economic crops, forbidden to destroy houses. So many rules of war. But what happens today? You go to a marketplace, tie a bomb to your body, and they'll detonate. Women and children, those who are innocent, they are all gone. So there is no how it can actually fit into Islamic ideology or prescription of Islam. They are just on their own. They are on errand for the Satan, and of course they will surely meet their Waterloo, right from this world and of course in the hereafter.
Okay. All right, at this point we'll just take a quick pause for the news update for 9:30, after which we'll come and talk more on this issue. Please stay tuned. Of this morning on ITV as we look at the significance of Eid-el-Kabir celebration. Now, Alhaji, very quickly, let's look at now after the celebration, of course, yes, whether we like it or not, by Tuesday everybody goes back to work and it's life as usual, the normal hustling and bustling, and of course the school fees to be paid and all that. Now, what's the take-out message from these celebrations, especially for families?
Thank you very much. The take-home message is that we should try as much as possible to submit totally to the will of God. God's consciousness, the consciousness of God, should be in us. If we have the consciousness of God, then that will be more effective than the efforts of the police, the EFCC, the ICPC, the immigration, the custom, and other law enforcement agencies all put together. Because the man that is God conscious knows that God sees him. We are told that beware of committing sin in solitude, for the witness is also the judge. You know that God sees you, even if the police not seeing you, even if the ICPC officer is not around, the EFCC officer is not around. You are fearful and conscious of your God. Then you caution yourself. That is one. And then very, very importantly too, to enter paradise, which is the most important thing on earth, you need to take 2 steps. One, the first step, use your right leg to step on your self-desires, or if you like, use your left leg to step on your self-desires. And I can assure you that once you take the next step, you will land yourself in paradise. What disturbs us is self-desires. I want to please myself. I want to do this. No, I need to do this. You are not considering whether God has approved it or not, whether it's convenient for your neighbors or not. Once you can step on your self-desires, I can assure you the next step you take, you land in paradise. But to take that first step is so difficult. For example, look at those who are in the House of Assembly, the executive houses, the senators, House of Reps, their take home till date is so much, and then you have minimum wage for some other workers. Why can't you take your step, put your leg on your self-desires, so that you can make sacrifice for the nation as well? That should be your own Ismail. The excessive salary you are collecting is ungodly. If you have legislated it, you are the one that made the nation. It's not God. As far as God is concerned, God wants equity. And then as we are approaching payment of school fees, we should know that we shouldn't go out of our way to commit crimes in order to survive. The ill-gotten money cannot bring up a good child. And of course, when your money is properly acquired, legitimately acquired, that is the only way you can benefit and find benefit from that. Try as much as possible not only to be generous during festive period. Now we entertain, we give ram, we give rice.
You give but to the people who can afford it.
Yes.
You don't give to those who can't afford it.
Don't give to those who can afford and neglect those who cannot afford. Give to those who can afford, give to those who cannot afford. Giving those who can afford means you are teaching them to be generous. And giving those who cannot afford means, you are helping the poor. You can see we are talking of the IDPs now. They are revolting. There is crisis. How many Nigerians have gone to the IDP camp to take one of them home? Nobody. We are saying government. When Muhammad and the followers, when they got to Medina, what happened? The people of Medina, the Muslims in Medina, what they did was to accommodate them. They now say, okay, you come and live with me. You come and live with me. In fact, not only that, they divided their wealth into 2 and shared with their brothers. They were even about to say, okay, I have 2 wives, you take one, I take one. Prophet said, no. You cannot share your wife with anybody. But how many of us are ready to share with our brothers? We are not ready. So the spirit of sacrifice is not in us. We have the spirit of selfishness. If you can take out selfishness, the place we sacrifice, of course, you will discover that you live a very good life, and of course you enter paradise very easily. There is no enjoyment on earth. Prophet asked one day, what is the best enjoyment on earth? People are thinking of different things. He said, no. The best enjoyment is what? On earth is sleep. And when you are sleeping, you are not even conscious of what goes on in your surroundings again, meaning that there is no enjoyment at all on earth. I think with this, we hope that the viewers will try as much as possible to submit to the will of God. The women try to comply, cooperate with your husband. The children be obedient to your parents, and then the masses generally, those in power and authority, try as much as possible, live with the fear of God.
Well said, Alhaji. Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Well, I've been speaking with Barrister Alao Al-Ameen. He's an Islamic scholar, of course, and we're looking at significance of Eid al-Adha, otherwise known as Eid al-Kabir, or sacrifice or celebration of sacrifice. So whatever you do, wherever you are, how do you even treat people around you? Do you sacrifice for people? Oh, I ought to have had this thing, but for the Father, you need it more than I do. Have it. Do you do that? I think if we all learn to sacrifice, no matter how little, we can really change our world. And that's our program today. Thanks a lot for watching. On behalf of Wilson, I am Ifoma Igwe. Remember, we're celebrating an enigma, and of course, with a church service at the Family Intercessory Prayer Ministry that will be coming your way shortly. Enjoy your week.
This is ITV. Certainly the best. This is ITV. Certainly the best.